Drewbert, I got a couple of questions for you. How was the flight in from your hometown?
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Well, how's your mom doing? I've heard that she's been taking care of your nephew.
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
And how do you feel about the game this afternoon? Big game coming up. You've been training for this for a long time. You got a lot on the line for this. How are you feeling?
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Well, can you tell me at least how it feels to be in beast mode?
You don't feel beast mode. It feels you. Hey there, sports fans. This is Drewbert Everett, and now for sports. Also in the starting lineup with me is
Chris Ferry.
And Josephine.
All right, so one thing I wanted to ask you today, Drew, is what's this whole Deflate Gate thing?
Okay, so basically the Patriots, my team, go Pats, they deflated the balls. I don't know who did it. All the press conference had full of balls. I mean, they just talked about balls the whole time. But basically what happened was 11 out of the 12 balls that were given to the officials for the Patriots to use when they're on offense were deflated less than the 12.5 to 13.5 pounds per square inch that they're supposed to be.
Okay.
So it's in the rule book, they have to be between 12.5 and 13.5 psi. That's just the rule. Quarterbacks for like years and years of years have their preferences. They like a ball that's a little on the lighter end, a little bit on the heavier end. I don't know exactly what happened, nor do I think we'll ever know. I mean, there's not going to be enough evidence to punish anybody for anything. They haven't done anything yet. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So,
why they're focusing so much on this thing. I mean, I get it. If they did it on purpose, it's cheating. It's wrong. I think they should be punished. I'm a Pats fan saying that. But it's a little ridiculous, all the things. Like, there was a player on the Seahawk that he got an injury in the last game he played. He said his pain was at a 10. The worst it could ever be at. And then he was playing the next day. What does the NFL do? They test him for steroids. Because, of course, he had to be on steroids. I mean,
really?
They treat the players like criminals. You can't win. You can't be a winning team, and some of them are. But you can't be a winning team, and apparently everybody cheats. So they're going to find something from everybody. Whether Belichick had this whole conversation, the coach of the Pats had this whole conversation about his press conference. About how it is possible that the balls were inflated in a warm atmosphere inside the building. They go outside. Technically, air compresses when it's colder. They're playing in a very cold environment.
Yeah.
It was rainy and wet. It could have compressed the ball. I don't know that it would necessarily do that in that short amount of time. I'm not really sure. But that's what Belichick says could have happened. He did all the research, so he said. But thing is, Tom Brady's come out saying he likes he likes the footballs that he throws.
He likes balls
On the lighter end of the spectrum. He likes it at 12.5.
Yeah.
Whereas other quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers said he wishes it could go higher than 13.5.
Now who's Rodgers?
He's the Packers quarterback.
Oh, gotcha.
His hands are huge. So he likes the ball bigger so he can hold it better, not have to almost pinch it because his hands are so big. Tom Brady, I guess his hand, I don't know, whatever he likes, it's just he likes the ball a little bit softer.
Yeah.
And that's his personal preference. These guys are paid a lot of money. They should be able to pick out the way they throw a football. I don't think it's anything.
Now, why have they labeled it cheating? Because it seems like if the ball's a little deflated, that's gonna fuck up everybody. Because we watched that game,
right?
And there were passes and catches that the Patriots were missing.
Right. What they say is the Patriots tried to use. They took the balls at a lower level because it was easier to grip the ball in a rainy, cold environment. So they think that the Patriots decreasing the amount of pressure in the ball made it easier to grab when it's wet and slippery. The balls are going to be slippery when it's raining.
Yeah,
So it's harder to catch when it's raining. So their thought was they thought that the Patriots thought decrease the pressure in the ball, it'll be easier to grab. They can
Have
catch
it a bit more give.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, if you think about it, a football isn't going to spin and rotate the best way. If you're, I guess the rotation would be fine. The thing is, Tom Brady's, like, if you can't grab the ball, or if you're grabbing the ball too well, you should be throwing it easier.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's throws were ugly that day.
Yeah.
That game was not Tom Brady won that game through passing. I think they scored 2 touchdowns that were passing related, and they were very short passes that the person actually ran to get the touchdown. And then you had, 3 or 4 that were rushing touchdowns. The running back took the ball.
Yeah.
Regardless of if the balls were deflated or not deflated, they beat the snot out of the Colts.
Yeah, no, they did.
A Colts player even said they would have beat us if they were playing with a bar of soap. So, how you can't...
And see, that's good sportsmanship.
That is. See, the thing, it all stemmed from a Colts player, though, who caught an interception and said, this doesn't feel right, and gave it to his coach, and his coach gave it to the officials, and then they switched the balls at halftime. And funny thing is, if you look at the stats, they got new balls at halftime. They were officially reviewed and deemed okay.
Yeah.
Tom Brady went 9 for 9 in passing and threw better in the second half than he did in the first half. So I don't.
What in the fuck, man?
Yeah, I don't understand the big deal. I get it if they did that to gain an unfair advantage. It's cheating. They should be punished.
Yeah.
But if you can't prove anything, right now Belichick's not admitting to anything. Tom Brady's not admitting to anything. Which if they didn't do it, they didn't do it.
Yeah.
But if they did, they're doing a decent job lying. Some people don't believe Brady's press conference. They said it was just full of shit. But people are going to say whatever they want.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
And it's been labeled Deflate Gate. Which everything is a gate now. There was Spygate originally in 2007.
What was Spygate?
Spygate was a legitimate thing. Patriots were
Picking off signs, right?
they had somebody in a zone they were not allowed to be in, videotaping teams give signals so they could figure out the place. That was definitely illegal. They got punished. I think Belichick got fined $500,000. Like, it was a big deal. The organization got fined.
Shit.
Like, it was a big deal. That was in 2004 or 2007. I can't remember. But then more recently there was what was it? What was the thing with the Saints? Do you remember that?
Oh, crap, I can't remember.
It was another gate thing.
It was another. They called it another gate. It was just like
Marshawn Payton.
yeah, the coach was giving bonuses to people to hurt people.
Oh,
What?
Yeah. I don't know if the coach directly was, but he got suspended for an entire year. He wasn't allowed to coach for an entire year.
Holy
Is he
shit.
still the coach there?
He is now, yeah.
That's fucking nuts. But see, I don't understand how just like they just go off about one little thing.
Yeah.
Well, they've got to have something to talk about.
Yeah.
So, of course, any little thing they're going to blow up.
Yeah.
Whether, there's some things that need to be blown up. Not necessarily. But the whole, hitting the guy who hit his girlfriend and all that, that's something.
Is that dude that punched that bitch in the elevator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And drug her out to the car.
Yeah.
Now
Holy
they're
shit.
married. Now they're married, actually.
Yeah, they got married
that's
after
Well,
that.
good for them.
That's her own fault.
Yeah.
She not saying she deserved to get hit, but she married him. She didn't have to marry him. But you know what? They're happy, whatever. See, that's news. Not
Who was the dude?
necessarily that we need to.
No, not Ray Lewis. Ray. What the heck was his name?
Leota?
No. But the thing with the Saints, that was called Bounty Gate.
Bounty Gate?
Bounty Gate. They were basically like, if they took out a player, they got a bonus. And it was supposedly like the defensive coordinator was doing it, but the head coach was fined and suspended for a whole year without pay.
They just always trying to down someone's.
Right.
I'm not even a Patriots fan, but they're always, the sports people, which they have to have. That's their job to talk about something, and they just get something started, and it just creates a big controversy, and we'll never know the truth. But yeah, if the stats, like we're better in the second half when the ball was more deflated how it was supposed to be technically, then who cares? They're going to beat them anyways. Like the guy said, like beat them with a bar of soap. Like the Patriots are the Patriots, and they're always going to be a successful team. You have a great coach with a great staff, and you have Tom Brady. So I mean,
why does everybody keep going after the Patriots? Because they seem like Tom Brady seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. I mean, he's just a white kid that just so happens to be good at football. The coach is pretty good, and the team's really not bad at all.
and
The
he's got a
thing is-
smoking hot wife. Ooh.
The thing is, Belichick is notorious for kind of being a dick. He just in interviews he doesn't fully answer questions. If he doesn't want to answer a question, he doesn't give a shit. And he has very different views of coaching. He doesn't just he bends the rule book a lot. It's more like he's following rules. I mean, I guess technically, if he's the one that messed up this whole Deflate Gate thing, then technically he bent the rules there, or he broke the rules there. But like this recently, everybody's talking about how they're using like illegal plays and all kinds of stuff, because what they're doing is they're sitting a receiver and putting an extra lineman or something in there and declaring that person an eligible receiver. And so that person can, if you're not, there's only a certain amount of people that can be eligible to catch the football. If you're not one of those people, like the center, the guy who hikes the ball, can't turn around and catch a pass unless he has told the ref that he is eligible. And then if somebody else has to be ineligible, like a receiver, and he can't go in front of the line of scrimmage. He has to drop back.
Gotcha.
So you can do that all day, but nobody's thought of that. Nobody's actually done that. And so, like last time, we scored a touchdown. A lineman caught a touchdown pass because he was lined up on the end of the line. He told the ref he was eligible, but it's hard in the amount of time to figure out, he's a receiver for the other team. They can't just, he's a receiver this time, we got to guard him instead of a receiver. It's confusing, especially when you have the running back who lines up on the line that is ineligible, and he just drops back to block, and you start to cover him, and then the lineman just breaks off and just catches a pass for 5 yards and goes in for a touchdown. It's kind of evil genius kind of way. It's just he just has that kind of thing, and people just don't like it.
Well, if it's not against the rules, and
right, that's my thing.
Yeah, shit people haven't done before.
Exactly, and he constantly comes up with these things for the last since Belichick kind of took over. There was maybe a 3-year period. After that, the Patriots have been a winning football team. People don't like teams that come into winning and just stay. Unless it's like the Cowboys used to win all the time, but they were America's team. The Packers are, everybody loves the Packers. But the Patriots came in 2002, 2003 and just started winning. And then you had Belichick, who was the coach, who was kind of a dick. And then you had this young gun that was drafted in the 6th round that is all of a sudden this all-star quarterback who takes your team from nothing to Super Bowl and wins. And then he won that year. They didn't win the next year, but then they won the next 2 years.
Holy shit.
So they won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. And everybody's just like, holy shit. And then you have all those people that kind of jump on, I'm a Patriots fan now. And then you get all the bandwagon fans that everybody hates. So that puts more animosity towards your team. And then, you always have that kind of thing going on. And since then, I mean, we've been to the Super Bowl 2 more times. We lost to the damn Giants. Screw Eli Manning, as far as I'm concerned. But
Well, anyone with the last name Manning kind of sucks.
Yeah, you get suck it.
the thing is,
Go
we've been to Super Bowls where the Patriots win, but I mean, people just hate winners. I mean, especially when they're like, honestly, if their team's not winning, they're going to hate the other team. You don't like the team that beats you every
They're
year.
the team that everybody loves to hate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just how the Patriots are going to be. My thing is, I mean, we have Belichick. He'll be here until either he starts losing or he dies. And then, but Tom Brady's lifespan is coming to an end.
How many more years do you think you got in?
I give it 3
3 or 4.
or 4 max. No more than that. And
How
that's-
many years do you think he's going to continue?
Tom
He's
Brady
going to go
has
to his
said,
max?
Well, he's had ACLs, like knee injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Tom Brady has said that he
4
will
years.
not play past when he's like, his statement was something like, I'm not going to play when I suck. And I mean, that's a good thing. You don't want to like retire, or you don't want to like retire after you've tried to keep your career going so much and then you're sucking so bad. And then it's
Yeah.
like, that's the last thing people think of you. So,
You want to leave at the end of your prime.
right.
You don't want to leave after like you've kind of dragged your team down because you're starting to lose your spark.
So, I mean, I give it anywhere 2 to 4 years. It also depends on his winning, what he does in the next couple years. If he wins this Super Bowl, he'll probably try for one more. If he wins that one, he might go after that. My money would say go because
End on a high note.
Yeah, and see the team. It's a weird mix of young and old. I mean, there's old veteran players like Vince Wilfork, the guy that plays on the line. Tom Brady. He's a veteran now. I mean, he's still he looks like an old young gun still.
Yeah.
He's ran more this season than I've ever seen him run in my entire life. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns, which I've never seen. That's not his game. He's a pocket passer, but I think he's nearing the end, and he's doing what he can to get another Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
And same with Peyton Manning. I've been a Patriots fan since I can remember, and we always hated whatever team Peyton Manning's on because that's our competition. Like I have all the respect in the world for him as a football player, but you always hated it because you never knew I mean, that was your biggest game of the year. You played when he was with the Colts, that was like the biggest game. Now he's with Denver. They're still in the AFC, so we play them once, maybe twice. So it's always a tough game. And he didn't have such a great year this year, so I guess he can contemplate whether he's going to retire or go or whatever. Last year, he got really close to a Super Bowl. He got to the Super Bowl, and then I don't know what happened, but it looked like he was 12 years old playing football.
Shit the bed on that one.
Yeah, it was bad. Like, I mean, the fumble thing for, like, to start the game, he fumbled into the end zone. They picked it up for 2 points for the safety. Like, it was right from the start, it was bad. He threw interceptions. It was just awful. And then he did okay this year. He played some good games, but then he lost games that he shouldn't have lost. He threw interceptions. I think he had a game where he threw like 4 interceptions or something. Like,
it's like the easier teams he would lose to.
yeah, he played to his competition. If it was a good team, he played up to it.
I
But
think I love Peyton. I don't want to see him go, but I think he should give it one more year. Like, he should just do one more year and try to finish on a high note. If he doesn't, or if he does, just end it.
Hasn't he had like problems with his leg?
He's actually had, he wears knee braces, but he actually has had, the reason the Colts let him go is because they didn't think he'd be able to come back. He had a lot of neck surgeries.
Well, he had a herniated disc in his neck, which is more dangerous than having it in your lower back.
Yeah.
And he had to have surgery, a spinal fusion, which it basically immobilizes however many layers they do it. And I think his was a 3-layer. So 3 vertebrae are fused together So he loses motion this way. And part of like the side effects of that surgery, he has hypersensitivities in his hand. That's why he wears gloves to actually throw. A lot of quarterbacks you see have a glove on their non-throwing hand, so it's easier to catch.
Yeah.
And they can keep it warm in the cold games and stuff, you know. But he has hypersensitivities to temperature and touch, so he has to wear that glove to throw a football. And so you have that. And then he also, like, he did have problems in his leg this year. I think he said something like he had a partially torn calf or something like that.
Did he have something with his ankle problem? Or is that another quarterback?
It might have been somebody else. I know he had a partially torn calf or something like that he played through, or quad or something. But,
I'm thinking Rodgers.
yeah. But, so, I mean, he had a rough end to the year, and he played through injury to do that, so.
But you were, when you talked about Belichick, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
When you talked about him earlier, who was the dude that does all that, like, that doesn't answer any fucking questions in interviews, that gives, like, shout-outs, or just says, yeah, every single time?
Marshawn Lynch.
Who's he play for?
He plays for the Seahawks in the Super Bowl as well. And the big thing is, you know, they're attacking. I mean, they're trying to find things wrong with every single person, it seems like, because NFL's been finding him because he does not want to talk to the media. I guess there's been times where the media has twisted his story. He doesn't want to talk, so he doesn't want to give him a story to twist.
I don't blame him for that.
One bit. I honestly think it's kind of comical to see all of his interviews. Like, there'll be times he answers every single question with, yeah, or I don't want to get fined. I'm just here because I don't want to get fined. The funniest thing to me was the Skittles press conference. He answered every single question. Like, it was a joke thing they were asking him about, like, would he ever talk to a rainbow that could talk or something? And, you know, it was just random questions, but he answered them because it was funny.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's power to him. You know, he's one of the best, if not the best running back in the game today. Like, they talk about him going into beast mode because he'll run through like 6-7 people. There's been times when they've counted and he's broken 8 tackles. 8 people try to tackle him. He's gotten through it.
Fuck.
Like, run for 80 yards and stuff like that. I mean, the guy's,
And isn't he like shorter though?
Yeah, he's short. He's like a square.
Yeah.
He's built like a yeah. He runs through shit like no other.
Holy shit.
And so it's funny to me. He did make a couple obscene gestures which cracked me up. He ran for a touchdown. I think it was the first game he played in the playoffs, and he dove into the end zone and grabbed his crotch. And then landed on his back, rolled, got up.
Yeah.
NFL fined him.
What?
Yep. The next game he played, who did they play? The Packers. This is when they played the Packers. He went to the end zone and just grabbed his crotch, holding the football after he scored a touchdown. And, like, it wasn't even a big thing. Like, he made sure everybody saw it. He looked at one teammate and just grabbed his crotch like that and just walked off. NFL fined him. They've been fining him for the not talking to the press. 'Cause, I mean, technically it's in his contract. He's going to talk to the media. But if you don't want to, I mean, it's stupid that they do that. They make that rule. They pick that little thing out.
Yeah.
Let the man just change his clothes and leave.
Yeah.
Another thing that relating to him, apparently the NFL approves every year, every couple of years, a template or a color scheme that you're allowed to wear on the field.
Okay.
So, like the Seahawks, apparently it's silver, navy blue, and lime green. They are the colors that they're allowed to wear, no other colors. Marshawn Lynch.
In, like, their jerseys, or just...
Well, the jerseys are given to them, the pants are given to them, socks. The uniform is given to them. They can't do anything. But this is talking about, like, gloves, under sleeves,
Gotcha.
or wristbands, or cleats.
Gotcha.
They get to pick those things out because they're comfort things. They're things that you like, Well, apparently Marshawn Lynch bought himself a pair of cleats that cost him $1,100.
Good God.
The paint was made of 24 karat gold dust.
What the
So
fuck?
they were the cleats that he normally wore, basically painted gold. with literal gold. And the NFL told him he would not be allowed to play. He would be barred from the game until he changed his cleats. He was not allowed on the field wearing those cleats. Like, tell me how stupid and catty that is.
That is really, really dumb. Especially when the rest of your fucking uniform is the same color as everybody else's. Yeah. That makes sense.
He should have had them splattered with silver.
Well, he loves gold. You look at his freaking teeth; he's got like all the gold everywhere. His earphones that he wears are like the Beats thing. I don't know if they're Beats. There might be a different brand, but they're gold. Like he likes gold, so naturally he's gonna have gold cleats. Shit, he earned the right to wear whatever the fuck cleats he wants.
Especially if all that beast mode shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. Damn, at least give the man his cleats. That doesn't make any fucking sense. All these politics are ruining the sport.
I know. I miss the days where just like granted,
with the brown leather caps.
Oh, we're not 800 years old. Like, what the heck are you talking about? No, I guess I just miss it's just all these rules are being. All these like owners and the people who are in charge of every sport are just treating players like they own them, literally. And it's just they're taking it too far.
Yeah.
I know they're paying them to play a sport. If I could play a sport for 1/10 of what these people make, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, man.
But I know they're paying them all this money to play this, but you don't have to get all picky with the rules and you can't wear these cleats, you can't come on the field if you don't have the right colors on. I mean,
especially if that's part of the uniform that they get to pick out, because it's like you said, comfort pieces.
Yeah. Now, thank God, like if you watch Major League Baseball, that rule isn't in place, because if you look at some people's like batting gloves and cleats, they're like random crazy colors, not related to their team.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's awesome. I like the neon colors.
Yeah, it gives the player's personality.
Right.
Yeah.
But not in football.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Would you say football is the most marketable sport nowadays?
Probably.
With all the rules and all the shit they get from it?
Probably.
Especially with the Super Bowl and how that's become an ad whore?
The football is America's sport. I mean,
really?
Technically, like the nickname for baseball is America's pastime.
Yeah.
But as a matter of just watching sports in other countries, it's soccer all the way.
Yeah.
In a lot of other places like Dominican Republic, baseball's huge.
Yeah.
Baseball used to be really huge, and then football came along, and football is like, honestly, what's more American than a whole bunch of guys knocking the crap out of each other? Like that's
true.
People watch football way more. Like regular games, if they're big games, get more viewing than the World Series of baseball. Like that's just how it is. People watch football. I mean, people who don't even know what all the rules in football watch football. Not many people sit down and watch a baseball game. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
But typically, it's just for the Braves. Whereas football, I'll watch anybody. It doesn't matter. Especially, also, there's fantasy baseball, but it's not as popular as fantasy football.
Yeah.
People can, and it's happened in leagues that I played at, like women that don't even know anything about football. They're like, oh yeah, football. Just win the league. They just pick random people, put them in, and end up winning. And it pisses you off to no end because they know nothing about football, but they're winning fantasy football leagues.
That is really fucking.
But some fantasy football are making money, and then if you have you pay to do it.
Oh,
and so like
gotcha.
ESPN gets cuts and players gets cuts.
Shit.
Like NFL is football is the most money making sport in the United States. That's just how it is among Americans, But
fuck, dude. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Especially considering how much all the players are paid and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to get salary, like income,
Yeah.
and then all the jerseys, all this stuff.
All the merchandise.
Yeah.
Crazy fucking tons of merchandise.
It's like you can't buy a legitimate football jersey. Like if it's an actual jersey, not one of the counterfeits or something, you can't buy one for under $100 for an adult.
Yeah.
And that's the lowest level. There's like 3 levels of jerseys nowadays, like 100, and then there's like 150, and then there's like a 200, 250 or something. Like, it's ridiculous. But I mean, the ones that are 250 are like the game jerseys that they wear on the field, like on-field jerseys. So, but yeah.
Holy shit. All right. Well, folks, thank you for joining us here in the sidelines up in the box. That was Drewbert Everett, and I'm Chris Faring. And that's Josephine.
That's right.
And that's the game.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.